What up, yo? Luna the Bright One here. I want to give you a little bit of a view of what I see. A little bit of the view of the chemtrails, if you guys can see. I can't really tell. I tried to do the whole view of back camera and then try to make it front camera. I am so bad with these things. But I guess the more that I do this, the better I will get. Yes, they still do chemtrails. Oh yeah. Some days are really bad. Other days, like today, are like 4 instead of 20. So, so this video, anyways, is number 3, número 3, for those who speak Spanish, and those who don't, number 3. So, I wanted to get more into my ancestors, that one particular group of ancestors that I kind of touched on. They want me to let you know the story. There's one tragic story, and I don't know why the hell they want me to tell you this, but I guess, maybe because it's so tragic, and love stories are always like tragic, my God. And it's only tragic when you grow up in a place where you can't date somebody outside your race, your color, your creed, the same sex, whatever the shit is. Because really, it's all shit. We're all freaking bodies. We're all freaking humans. So the ones I touched on, I think I touched a little bit on video 1 and video 2. Were the really, really, really dark skin. Now, the ones that I was talking about as far as black, it was just beyond black, and no purple or blue tint or anything, just black. They tell me that they were one of the originals as far as the making goes, the models, if you will. I don't know, if you want to say it that way. This is how they're coming across to me, so they're not going to get offended because I'm kind of saying how they say it. So he, in particular, it's one male story, and I don't even know what to call him because by now he would be like the great grandpa or something. So I'm just gonna say, him. It was the dark skin, and then he only saw his crew, which was the dark skin, and then he only saw one other, which was red. And I don't mean Native American red. I mean like pottery clay red, like before any other type of mixtures were there. So you had the red, and then you had the black. So I'm going to call mine in particular because I'm sure by then, the reds were my ancestors as well, because they must have mixed. Everybody now is mixed, I myself am Puerto Rican and white, but my God, who knows what the hell's in Puerto Rican? Because, us Caribbean folk, we got everybody in us. Okay. So the story is this, and it's going to be kind of a quick one, but he initially didn't want to show me this. He tried to actually show me a false memory, and I don't know if that was a test or what, but I'm like, hey, dude, this is false. You gotta show me the true shit, man. You can't just be like trying to show your great granddaughter some bogus memory. So then he finally showed me, and now I realize why. He was in the time of okay, so it would have probably been the Dracos. I call them the generals. So just think of the alien on the movie Predator. Go see all of those, by the way. Yes, they do use those ropes. Yes, they do use that type of face mask, as well as yes, they do have that technology, and they are magnificent warriors. Assholes, but magnificent warriors. But anyway, some of them have changed. Surprisingly, they have hearts. My God, I was like extremely surprised. Anyways, so back to them. And he lived in a place where they actually did have the temples because, they didn't want to, they meaning the generals, didn't want to live amongst the slaves. So they did have those, and obviously we see them in Teotihuacan, I think it is, down in Mexico, those big ones with the stairs. So anyways, I'm trying to focus more on the story, and he's like, get it out already. So they were the warriors. Okay, so the dark-skinned ones, my grandparents, were the warriors, and the other ones with the red skin were more, he says they were more earthbound, where they were just, basically living like we are, but they're living off the land and all that good stuff, planting and farming, basically like, just chilling. But they, in particular, were made specifically as warriors so that they can go in and, do what warriors, the bad warriors, not necessarily good warriors. A good warrior is a whole different freaking ball of wax. They have a regard for human life. He was under the generals. They taught them a lot of the maneuvers that they had. They never showed them any, or they never gave them any technology, obviously. They also were, feet shorter than the generals. You know how inferiority complexes go. If you want to make something that you don't want to turn on you, you're going to make it smaller than you. It's just how it is, I guess. So anyways, he was one of the groups that they would go out to the other places, the other people and other tribes, and they would snag them, especially if they're alone. They would snag them, take them in, sacrifice them, and do whatever the else. I don't even want to tell you what the fuck they did to the females. Let me just say, that's no bueno. That's no good. That might be for another video. So they would snag him. Then he, as the story goes, he saw one that he fell in love with. And he actually told me and showed me, not really told me because he doesn't speak English, but he showed me how he would go into the trees and, basically stalk her. It's not stalking, it's research. He would research and he would watch her and he would, because he was in love. And then ended up where, long story short, I guess, because it's already long, he found out who her family was, and so he would try to keep his group of warriors from snagging her and her family. Ended up where he ended up like running into her on accident because he didn't really, and he wasn't allowed to see her, talk to her, nothing. So he kind of just like watched from afar, ran into her. Those two, actually both of them fell in love with each other, so that's obviously twin flames in two separate bodies. They actually literally, at the end of the story, ran away, and of course they were caught and, off with their heads and shit, but that's where the tragic part comes in to play. But it was just amazing to me how I can see these, if you want to call them downloads, because I communicate that way as well, to see how dark the skin was and how red the skin was. Like, it looks like they literally had clay on their skin. Like, the people nowadays are nowhere near those two colors at all. Nowhere near it. The hair on their head was so black. The red people had like the straight hair, and then him, actually, I never noticed. I think they might, I don't even know. I don't even want to say because I haven't even noticed what his hair was because I'm kind of seeing it through his eyes. So I could see the other people of his tribe, but a lot of what he's showing me is when they would snag them in the trees, and there's a lot of trees because these were in the jungles and all that, and so there's a lot of shade. So I don't even know what their hair looked like, but I just know that it was super black. But the red people, obviously, because of the red skin and then the black hair, the contrast. So they wanted me to share that nice little tragic story, but also more so sharing the fact of some of the original people they wanted me to get out is exactly that. It's red and then black. I can't speak for any other colors at the moment because I haven't come across those other colors. I just recently came across these particular ancestors no more than like a few days ago, actually. Actually, about 4 different groups came to me. A German group came to me. They haven't come forward to want to say anything yet. I wonder why. And just saying, every group has their fuck-ups. Every group has their tragedies, and they've done horrible things to other groups. I don't think anybody here is innocent. I really don't. Not even Pleiadians, not even Arcturians, not even Syrians, not even Americans, not even freaking Germans, Russians, whatever the fuck it is. None of us, as far as the group goes. Now, I haven't done any craziness like that, and I'm sure most of you have not, but in our groups, there's been a lot of that, a lot. They also wanted me to say that as well, that, some of our groups, all of our groups have done some things. And there's a lot of tragic love because they couldn't. They wanted me to describe, too, I guess the best way, again, is look at the movie's Predator. That's how they looked. They had the whole thing with their mouth. The generals, though, only have one. They don't have the bottom and the top. They just have the bottom. Shit's really ugly. But whatever, everybody looks different. Not everybody's pretty. And not everybody who is pretty is good. And not everybody who is ugly is bad. So I'm just saying, this would be a time where everybody needs to be take into consideration discernment. Take my words and say, this might be bullshit. Take my word and say, hey, shit, that might be the truth. I'm just getting a vision, or I'm just getting pictures and shit of this. So I haven't been there. I can experience it through their eyes, and I can say, hey, that's some crazy shit, you know, that you experienced. I have not seen it, but it is through an ancestor of mine. So there's that story. And okay, so with that, oh, and the warriors, the Darkseid warriors, were only guys because they totally separated the females and the males. Okay, so what they do want to say about the females is they would breed them. I mean, that would be kind of obvious, I think. But they would take them into the temples, and they never saw them again. The guys never saw them again. They knew that they were breeding because you know how curious humans are. Sometimes they see things they shouldn't be seeing. So that is what they wanted to get out. So, you know, just a little about my ancestors. And again, if anybody has any questions, eventually I'll have subscribers. And if anybody has questions, I will definitely answer those questions because I know I would. I had a ton, actually, and still have a ton. I also have an Asian background that were like pre-mixture of Asians. Like, they weren't Japanese. Okay, they don't want me to talk about them right now. Okay. But anyways, that's the background of that one. Okay, so this video is almost over. I do need to get some water too. When they don't want me to say something, they stop me from saying it, just saying. So I respect their privacy. Eventually things will come out, or in my eye, eventually things will come out. And, you know, each video is different. Again, so if anybody wants any kind of like ancestral reading or anything of that sort, I'm here. Emails down below. And again, any questions, I can answer them. And I will continue to make these videos because apparently people want me to, I shouldn't say people, beings want me to get this out. And so I'm getting it out. And there's a lot to say. And apparently short spurts because this phone only allows me to record short spurts. So there it is. And oh, and subscribe if you like this. Like it, you know, all that good stuff. Love everyone, and everyone love you. Peace, love, and chicken grease.